My name is Yukiko Masui. I am originally from Tokyo, Japan. My dance training started in hip-hop and ballroom Latin dance back in Tokyo. And since I moved to London, I started to train in contemporary dance. And last year, in 2020, I started my new movement training in sword practice. I was born in Japan and I grew up in Tokyo, and when I was about 10 to 15, I was practicing a martial arts form called kendo with a bamboo sword. But then after 15, I went into dance. I kind of shifted from dedicating my time, like morning practice in the evening with my club, with the kendo club, and I stopped it and kind of shifted completely to dance world, where I started taking hip-hop classes and also training with my friends on street in the evening or overnight after school. Then I really had this sense of friendship and community with the hip-hop community back in Tokyo. I met contemporary dance teacher who trained at Laban. I met her at university in Tokyo, and then kind of she opened my mind completely about what I thought of dance is. I really wanted to train in contemporary dance, so I moved to London to train at Laban and got into Transitions postgraduate dance company at Laban. From there, since then, I've been working as a freelance dancer in contemporary dance world. And I think in that process of it, I lost a sense of that purpose and having a continuous community around that is facing the same direction. But I think there was something that I was missing, but I couldn't quite articulate because I was dancing 24 hours, quite intense, working with the companies. But then actually the lockdown came in and that was taken away. Working, traveling, dancing was completely taken away, and I was like, and then somehow kind of made me realize what I was missing. And then I kind of reconnected with my sword teacher, Kashmir, and we were friends from hip-hop community in London. We used to train together, and also I used to take his classes as well, because he's big time, traveling, judging and battling all the time. But when he was in London, we were trained together, learning from him as well. And then kind of lockdown made me realize that actually he was living in my neighborhood, and then we started training in park, really regularly, because that was the only option to kind of keep us going. The kind of dedication and discipline that he kind of brought me back, and also I think the part of it that he brought back the sense of community and friendship.
Keep going. Teaching technique is easy, but without any life lessons in them, it's kind of useless, especially because hip-hop is a culture and it's something that I've been living for a while, and the things you learn in that culture can help you in real life, not just as a dancer. So I guess when it comes to teaching weapons, on the surface it's just movements, right? And that's what dance may seem as well, because I've gone through that whole hip-hop experience and living the lifestyle. I always teach with an idea or a philosophy in mind.
The way you teach sword or weapons or dance is something that is very similar the way I was trained back in Japan, and also you having experienced lived in Japan, there's something that for me was super resonates and comforting, being pushed as well. So I feel as a freelance artist, whenever you're given an opportunity, you feel like you want to make the best out of it, and I just felt into the habit of, okay, let's make something real quick. And where actually during the mentoring program, Mevin was really reminding me each time in the mentoring sessions that, but you have just started your sword training during the lockdown, and you're already going so much ahead without really researching the concept itself and the movement itself, how the sword practice and dance, how they can hold the space together. And I was like, wow, that is so true. And this movement that I'm trying to create with the intention, but in order to get there, I realized that I really need to practice sword training, and the movement will come naturally just because I am dancing all the time, and using this time to honing in on the sword training, then that will allow me to meet with a contemporary dance technique where I can use more space, I can use the floor work, I can use all of it, but that shouldn't come first. I need to let the sword take me to where it makes sense. Again, when I had a mentoring session with Mevin, he said, Yuki, you have to let your sword take you instead of you trying to make the sword move. And that was, oh yes, that's so right. There's a huge shift in these two approaches where when I train with Kashmir, it's really like strictly about the sword training. And whenever I come to the studio, there was more freedom in the merging of the more wider vocabulary of movement and the sword, where I can easily get lost. But it was so important to come back